If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
What's up, guys? Here's a kind of flashy demo of what we're doing today. As soon as it's done, I will be giving you the full walkthrough. Stay tuned.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
All right, now for a more in-depth walkthrough. Today I'm going over the new Smart Captions MOGRT I recently made. There's a few cool things about this MOGRT. The main one is that it can automatically animate highlighted text and accurately predict the timing you need to do that. The other cool thing it can do is it has emojis built in. You can just type in the Unicode of a particular emoji and it just pops up. So let's jump into how it works. If you've never used a MOGRT before, all the action takes place in the Essential Graphics panel. In the bottom right here is a button, Install Motion Graphics Template. You will click that, find the MOGRT wherever it might be on your computer, and it will pop up here. From there, you can drag and drop into your timeline like so. Here in the Essential Graphics panel are all the options that we have control over. So I have some sample footage here. It's from a pitch video for some project I did several years ago. Let's just play it.
But yeah, I'd love to collaborate, love to get your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your consideration.
So we'll start it with, I'd love to
collaborate, love to get your feedback.
Okay, so we're gonna add captions to this with this MOGRT here. So this first place here is where we would enter our text. If you have this transcribed, you can just copy paste little chunks of text right in here into 2 lines, and that's all you need to do. We'll make that the first one. I'd love to collaborate. Right around there is when our next caption will start. I'm gonna take my MOGRT and Alt drag over. What Alt does is it moves it, but while creating a new instance of something too. So in this case, we've got a totally new MOGRT at this playhead here. I'd love to get your feedback. So I'm kind of just aesthetically lining it up so each line is about the same length. In fact, I might do the same on this first one. I'd love to collaborate, so they're all about the same.
I'd love to collaborate.
So yeah, you can see that it's a little off right now. And you might be thinking, hey, wait a minute, I thought the whole point of this MOGRT was that it just knew. Ultimately, I designed this template to be versatile, to be able to customize per the speed of whoever might be speaking in the video. So we have 2 settings that can control this. The first one I'll demonstrate is right here at the top, highlighter timing offset. So that's pretty simple. It's just a slider that offsets the animation a few frames this way or a few frames that way. It's up to 1 second in either direction on a 24 frame per second timeline anyway.
I'd love to collaborate.
So yeah, we can see we're a few frames late. I'm talking pretty fast in this video. So that frame right here, frame 8, that's where it should change over. And then we are 1, 2, 3, 4, we're 4 frames off. So we're just gonna go -4 up here and we should be good after that.
I'd love to collaborate.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so the next one is
love to get your feedback.
Similarly slow, because I'm talking so fast here. So I think 101 is where we should be changing over, and then we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 9 frames off, so that one's really fast. So we go -9 up there, and we should be good.
I'd love to collaborate, love to get your feedback.
Done. Okay, so this one is perfect, and now we'll go on to the next one, which starts right there. You can see on the waveform down there. Again, we're gonna Alt drag. We got a new instance here. Oh, we still have that -9 here. We'll go ahead and zero that out. So let's see the caption we have.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, comma, and then the next one's probably somewhere over here. Feel free to reach out, period. Okay, we'll see how that one plays.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Okay, so yeah, this is a little slow here, and maybe it's pretty accurate on this one, maybe a tiny bit slower. I'm gonna now show you the other feature to affect timing. And that is the one at the very bottom here, talking speed. I put that one at the bottom because it's really more of a set it and forget it kind of setting. That's the idea anyway. This is an overall calibration setting. So if you have a speaker who talks particularly fast throughout your entire video, the idea is you can set this one in the very beginning of your workflow and just leave it like that. And then from there, you'd be copying different instances of your MOGRT throughout with this setting basically copying in to each new instance. So you can kind of just set it once and not thinking about it again. So what is it? Basically what this MOGRT is doing under the hood, it is calculating on the fly how long it takes to say each syllable. So it has a syllable counter built in, and it's also factoring in things like punctuation, which might also affect timing. So talking speed affects the rate of speed per syllable, essentially. 50 out of 100 is just general conversational speed, kind of right middle of the road. I'm probably talking a little faster, Maybe we'll try 65 maybe. Let's see what that does and play that.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, 65 is probably closer to the actual speed I'm going at. So I would say if I'm going to calibrate this for this entire video, I would probably leave that at 65. That'll make all the guesses that much more accurate right off the bat. And then of course, you always have this offset slider to fine tune from there if you want. So let's get this last caption in here, right there. And
Thank you so much for your consideration.
So it's just thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
Perfect. Okay, so I think we were right on the money with 65. And yeah, that's generally the intended way to use this MOGRT is to drop it in and really set this first, kind of get a sense of how fast your speaker is talking in general, set that, and then as you make new instances of the MOGRT for the various lines of dialogue, you get that number in each one automatically. The next major feature set of this MOGRT is just styling. Everything you see can be changed. You know, these are not necessarily colors you're gonna want, but just the fact that you can do that.
Feedback, if you have any questions.
I would recommend doing that first. You know, now that we've created all these different instances, it's gonna be annoying to set those up after the fact. So that's probably the thing you wanna do in the very beginning, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm just showing you the things you can do. A stroke, you know, that's just the outline of the text. You can go none at all, would be down at the bottom. 7 is by default, but whatever you like, whatever your taste is. Drop shadow, I basically curated 3 different intensities of drop shadow, which automatically handles things like distance and opacity and all those things that normally you would have to tinker with. Tilt is -3 or +3 degrees. That's kind of a popular caption content aesthetic. Now it's available to you just as a easy slider. Leading. So leading is the distance between lines. This is a feature that, you know, many text editors have built in. So does this one. Tracking, similar, just we want more spacing between the letters or less. That's available to you. Highlight scaling is set to 3 out of 5. So highlight scaling is, if you notice, the highlighted text kind of becomes bigger. This controls how much bigger. Does it become no bigger? 0 out of 5. So you see the text becoming highlighted doesn't impact the scale at all. If you set it to 5, now it impacts it quite a lot. 3 is the default, so leave it there. So those are all of our style options. And we skipped one. That's the other main feature set of this MOGRT is emojis. So if we open this drop folder, we have a few different settings around emojis. So like I said, this MOGRT has emojis built in. You can see them all when you check this box, emoji reference guide, and that will pop up this sheet. These are the 100 most popular emojis according to some website that I found. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but it does seem to have many of the ones that you're gonna ever need. If it's missing some that you'd love to have, I can certainly add more emojis in a future version, but I think for now, looks pretty good. You just find the one you like. Note the code down below. So I like this one here, 1F92A. Go ahead and turn this off and type in the Unicode 1F92A, and there it is. So we've got our emoji here. And just like the highlighter scale slider down below, the emoji scale, there it just changes the size of the emoji as it appears. You know, you might not need to mess with that. It's generally scaled appropriately with the size of the footage by default. So, but it's there if you want it.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
So that one is about questions. So let's see if we have an emoji about questions. This one here, 1F64B, a person raising their hand, 1F64B. There we go. And we can close the reference guide. And there it is. If you have any questions, I might add that same one to that previous caption too, because they're both about questions. There we go. If you have any questions.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much for your consideration. What's the thank you one? Let's do this. 1F64F. 1F64F. Turn off the reference guide. And there we go. We can copy that into this one. And there we go.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
Got some emojis. Okay. And the last thing probably to do is just, let's slide this down. It does have a offset inside of the MOGRT too, but I find myself actually using the regular Adobe one more often anyway. So whatever you want to do, you got choices. It's too far down with the emoji. Yeah, something like that. I will copy that motion to all of these. Cool.
I'd love to collaborate, love to get your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your consideration.
All right, so that's how it works. It's pretty long-winded to explain it and demonstrate it. The idea is that you can kind of just fly through these and ideally copy-paste text and not type it in manually like I did. I think this can work pretty well in conjunction with Adobe's automatic transcription capability that you can just copy-paste in. I know that's not the most ideal workflow, but in the interest of getting this sort of animated aesthetic with emojis and all this customizability, and considering caption content is usually quite short, I think you will still find value out of this. This MOGRT is available now on Gumroad. There is a link in the description, and be sure to like this video so people can find it. If you have any feedback about it or thoughts about how I've designed the MOGRT or how you think it might work or might not work very well, do let me know. And if you have any other MOGRT ideas, let me know those and maybe I can bring them into a future template. All right, thanks guys, and see you on the next one.